Good evening and welcome to the June 2nd, 2025 regular meeting of the Mayor and City Council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance, and we're going to have Jeanette Rosenbaum from our Environmental Affairs Committee lead us in the pledge. If everyone can please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. Next item on our agenda is reflection, and I'd like to call for a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Now we have approval of minutes, and tonight we have two sets of minutes before us. The first is from the work session on Monday, May 12th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move approval of the minutes of the session dated May 12th.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, carries 3-0. I should note we are not expecting Councilmember Wu this evening, but we are expecting Councilmember Harris to join us. He's just going to be a little bit late. So next we have the minutes from the regular session on May 19th. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move approval of the minutes of the regular session held on May 19th, 2025.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Okay, that carries 3-0. Next, we have our consent agenda, and there are 4 items on the consent agenda. What is the pleasure of the council?
Mr. Mayor, I move that for approval of the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That carries 3-0. And next, we're going to move into presentations, and I'll join Tanisha down at the podium.
All right, excellent. One of my favorite things to do is to recognize our amazing staff here at the City of Gaithersburg. This evening, I am before you to present the first quarter Employee Recognition Awards. That is January 1 through March 31st. The winners were nominated by their peers, and nominations were based on criteria embodying the city's 5 core values under our strategic plan, which include accountability, caring, excellence, integrity, and teamwork. Do you remember what that stands for, Mayor?
Ace it.
Ace it. That's right. Thank you. Thank you.
You didn't know it was a pop quiz for you tonight.
No, I didn't.
All right. So tonight, I want to congratulate our winners. I'm going to announce their names, and then I'll read a little bit more about the employee of the quarter as well as the team of the quarter. So congratulations to Kenny Corso and the 431 North Frederick relocation team winners for the 2025 Employee Recognition Awards for the first quarter. Give them a round of applause. Kenny, you get to come up while I say nice things about you. So Kenny Corso is our Code Administrative Officer 1 with the Community, Neighborhood, and Housing Services. He was nominated by his colleagues for his ability to resolve some of the most challenging code violation cases. Using a combination of listening, patience, and persistence, Kenny is able to gain voluntary compliance, which is an incredible skill. His ability to communicate, develop a rapport, and provide friendly but needed guidance has led those on both sides of an issue to offer their thanks and appreciation for his assistance. Can you imagine being upset about some code enforcement issue and then thanking the guy who gave you the citation? That's huge, huge, Kenny. On a daily basis, Kenny demonstrates how an effective code enforcement can truly solve problems and make a difference in the community. Congratulations to Kenny.
Thanks.
I think you're
I'm the star.
You are the star. You're the star today. Ready? Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. There's a clean sweep tonight from the Community Neighborhood and Housing Services Division. The team of the quarter, and speaking of making a difference in the community, is the 431 North Frederick relocation team. I'm sure that sounds very confusing to most people, so I'm going to explain what happened here. But that team is comprised of Code Administration Officer 3, David El Hawa. Am I saying that right, David? I always just call you David. And Code Inspector Muhammad Ali, and Landlord Tenant Investigator 3, Suzanne Mimari, all from the Community and Neighborhood Services team, and Community Services caseworker Geraldine Bernardo. You might remember Geraldine's name because she was our Employee of the Quarter and our Employee of the Year for 2024. So this team was, okay, come on up, guys. And we'll do applause while they're on their way. This team was nominated for their multi-division/department effort to address a commercial property that was being used to house families in unsafe conditions. The team assisted in highlighting the violations while coordinating with CARE to allow the families to find alternative housing options and relocate in the midst of a difficult winter. Each team member played a vital role, and they were united in their commitment to serve the displaced residents. David El Hawa identified the violation, ensuring that the appropriate internal partners were immediately included, setting the tone for the city's approach to prioritize safety, legal compliance, and resident dignity. Muhammad Ali led the site inspection process with repeated visits to the property, maintaining effective and open communication with both internal staff and the property owner. His diligence and consistency ensured that health and safety concerns were addressed and that the proper enforcement procedures were followed throughout. Susanna Mamari was the tireless liaison between the city, the landlord, and the impacted tenants, bringing empathy and clarity to each interaction, helping to hold the property owner accountable while also ensuring the impacted families understood their rights and options. And Geraldine Bernardo worked closely with the families to secure emergency housing, support, and resources. Her compassion and dedication were evident as she assisted the families in gaining access to financial assistance, legal aid, and new housing options. The individual and collective effort of this team reflects the best in how the city provides public service in a manner that is responsible, responsive, collaborative, compassionate, and accountable. Their work not only resolved a dangerous housing situation, but also left no one out in the cold, helping dozens of people regain safety, stability, and hope, even in the midst of a difficult time. Their efforts were truly exemplary of the values and mission of the city of Gaithersburg, and congratulations to them. Is this okay? Just a little bit tighter. Okay. You're good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Congrats.
Congratulations, everyone.
Okay, we've got a couple of proclamations tonight. And for the first one, I'm going to invite Jason DeMarchi, our cultural events and services division chief. Come on up. We're going to proclaim it Pride Month. Let me have you read this part, and then I'll read the proclamation.
Got it.
Pride Month is celebrated annually in the United States during the month of June. The month of June has become a symbolic month around the world for the LGBTQIA+ people and allies to come together in various celebrations and acceptance and equality. The city will be celebrating Pride Month with a variety of programmings, including performances of the play Bull in a China Shop at the Arts Barn, which is running from June 2nd to the 22nd. Rainbow Families Weekend at the Community Museum, which is taking place on June 14th and 15th. The Community Museum's Storytime Station, Free to Be Me, on June 24th. And a student service learning opportunity at the Kentlands Mansion, making Pride ribbon wands.
All right. And the proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg reads, whereas the month of June has become a symbolic month around the world for LGBTQIA+ people and allies to come together in various celebrations of acceptance and equality. And whereas the long and ongoing struggle of transgender, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and other historically marginalized groups for basic civil and human rights continues to provide inspiration to all. And while society at large increasingly supports LGBTQIA+ equality, it is essential to acknowledge that the need for education, awareness, and empowerment remains vital to end discrimination, inequity, and prejudice. Now, therefore, I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as Mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Pride Month throughout the city of Gaithersburg. Proclaim this second day of June 2025, signed by me. Let's give Jason a big round of applause.
Having read that, now I'm going to make all this stuff shorter for you next time.
You get to keep that.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right. All right, and we're about to proclaim United States Army Day, and I want to invite my friend Jason Spiegel, member of the Maryland Veterans Commission, to join us up here. And I'm just going to, basically this reads the same, so I'm going to just read the proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of Gaithersburg. Whereas on June 14, 1775, the Second Continental Congress established the United States Army, marking the birth of America's military and the beginning of its fight for freedom and independence. And whereas for nearly 250 years, the Army has stood as a guardian of liberty, providing security to our nation, maintaining readiness and lethality, and promoting peace worldwide. And whereas the courage, dedication, and sacrifice of Army soldiers, veterans, and their families have ensured the safety and prosperity of our nation and the freedoms we cherish. And whereas the United States Army remains steadfast in its mission to serve and defend, building strong ties with local communities and fostering partnerships that strengthen the fabric of our great nation. And whereas the city recognizes the Army's pivotal role in shaping our nation's history, security, and freedom, now therefore I, Judd Ashman, by the power vested in me as Mayor of Gaithersburg, do hereby proclaim June 14th, 2025 as United States Army Day in the city of Gaithersburg, and encourage all residents to join in honoring the men and women who have served and continue to serve the United States Army. Proclaim this second day of June 2025, signed by me, and let's give Jason a big round of applause. Now, if you want to say a couple words, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Ashman, and on behalf of the Maryland Veterans Commission, and as an Army veteran myself, I want to thank you and the City Council for recognizing the Army's birthday. Hooah.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so next, Melanie Brown and Jessica Swigart are going to present the 25% design for the 12 South Summit Avenue building renovation project. And welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, council members. The city remains actively engaged with the Mans Woodward Studios design team in advancing the plans for the 12 South Summit Avenue building. This evening, we're pleased to share a presentation highlighting several key updates, marking a significant milestone, 25% completion of the overall design for both the building and the adjacent vacant lot. With that, I'll hand things over to our project architect, Jessica Swigart.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me back. Let's see. Oh, can you see the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah. we
Okay,
can. Yep.
awesome. So it's going to be a quick meeting. We just wanted to, as Melanie mentioned, give you an update of where we currently stand. So our agenda includes how we are trying to make this design more of a complex campus-like feel with this building versus the building across the street, what our current design intent is, and where we stand with the project. So as far as creating a uniform design between the two buildings. Everybody, I think, is familiar with this image of the two existing buildings here. Our goals are to create a uniform vocabulary between the two buildings, create that complex, almost campus feel, provide clear direction and functionality for the circulation, and create a unique experience. So our goal, or what we have decided to do moving forward, is our window replacements. So what you're seeing here is an image of currently 16 South, this building, and our rendering of the proposed design of 12 South. This one is showing the window replacements. As you can see, those are aluminum frames to match the vocabulary of this building that we're in now. Those right now are showing a green centerpiece between the windows. But if I flip real quick to the next one, we're also looking at an option of doing spandrel glass there instead of metal panels. Either way, you have that same vocabulary as this building here. We're also working on the building facade to try to pull these two buildings together. This one includes adding some metal panels and signage on the corner that shares the corner here with this building. We're going to have banners that are building mounted on both 12 and 16 buildings and matching the light fixtures that are currently used on this building. As far as the site vocabulary, we're going to match the same type of paving design, same type of planters, and the same type of site lighting fixtures that we have over there. So it really pulls these two buildings together. We are creating an identity of the entrance for 12 South building. We're going to be doing something very similar to what you see here. It's going to have planters, flagpoles. It's really going to pull the focus in there. And we will have some site signage around the entire campus that makes sure the pedestrian circulation, everybody knows which direction they want to go. One of the bigger things you see here is how do we bring these two buildings together? We looked at multiple different options, and where we landed was doing this unique kind of suspension tension cabling that is connecting between the two buildings. And this actually becomes the substructure for potential future art done by whoever you decide to have your artist be. As an example, this is just a quick little rendering diagram of how something could be suspended off of that. But there are plenty of ideas and examples out where people use this type of suspension structure, from different colors to more modern to starting to incorporate lighting. Something really playful. It's really up to the artist's imagination of what you guys can do out there. So as far as the site design and intent, the last time we met, we had included this drive connection between the alley and South Summit Avenue. As we made progress on our design with our civil engineers and realizing what we were able to fit on the site, it was determined to not do the new drive, provide that new recommended handicap spaces actually in the existing parallel spaces that are on South Summit, and to create more of a plaza environment. Now, the reason for that is how much limited space we have compared to wanting to do a plaza versus being able to do the drive. We still want that circulation between the train station and the garage. We're going to keep that. We're going to have to do some stormwater management associated with some of the hardscape that we're going to be doing in the plaza. We are going to be retrofitting that dumpster area, making it a little nice and a little bit more convenient for the trash pickup. We're still going to have that identity or that entrance identity for the entrance of this building. But now we have room to incorporate buffering with trees and vegetation between our site and our building and the train station. We're going to add more of an area of paved hardscape, whether we do actually pervious or impervious pavers, we're working on that. So we are going to try to incorporate some green ideas into this plaza. And then more of a modern seating gathering area for staff and pedestrians, public alike. Softening it up a little bit with some landscaping, some vegetation, some wood seats, and creating an area for art display, or multiple areas for public art display out there. Unfortunately, I don't have a site plan right now to show you. I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what our intent is, but we do plan on having a more defined site plan come mid this month. So right now, we have completed existing verification. We've done our layouts. We've worked through the lobby area and how the public is going to interact with the permit and lobby space. We have done not only a life cycle analysis, but a preliminary energy report, which is leading us in the direction of what that mechanical system details and what that is actually going to be. We've done our site surveys. We've had our preliminary code review meeting with the authorities having jurisdiction, so they were able to give us our feedback, and we're aligned with them and what they're expecting to see. And we also have been working through the different assemblies from wall types to window types, right down to the different security systems and what we're expecting in this building. This equals about 25%. We still have a little bit of way to go. So we have to refine that site design and then determine, based on that site design, what the site approval requirements are going to be. We do, because of our meeting with the code officials, we're realizing that there's potential for some phasing during construction in order to keep the occupied people on the fourth floor safe and compliant with code. And we still have a little bit of more detailed decisions to make as we work our way through this phase. Once we're done with this phase, that equals 50% design. And then in the future, that's where we'll really start to get the detailed cost estimates, coordinating with the utility companies, developing those construction documentations and specifications, continuing coordinating with the construction manager at risk, and then finally getting our permit approvals. I don't know if you guys remember this from last time, but we are right on track with where we were still. Fingers crossed we keep that way. We're hoping that all the design decisions and directions are finalized by the end of this quarter. Then we're able to roll right into the documentation phase, continuing with coordinating with the utilities and the authorities, then finalize permitting, go through bidding, and construction documentation. Actual construction. And leave it for you for questions. I know I flew through that, so let me know if you need me to back up.
Jessica, thank you very much. Really excited about the addition of the potential public art in between the buildings. That makes me very happy. Questions? We'll start with Neil.
So I'm curious about one thing. The point near the end about utility company coordination. Have you worked with our local utilities before? Because it's been
Yes, I have.
timing issues have been really a problem in the past.
Yep, so that's why we want to get ahead of the game and work with them as early on as possible. Once we have that mechanical system nailed down, then we can start to have those early conversations and try to work through as many humps in the road as possible.
Get them to show up when we need them.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
half the battle. Yeah. Okay, good.
Yep.
Jamil.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation. It's good to see, as a visual learner, it's good to see some visuals on what could be from a public art standpoint. I'll be curious as we continue to get more updates like this in terms of what's going to be done to highlight any of the environmental investments we're going to make there, and not just the check the box things, but what are aspirational things we could do in this showcase property.
Yep, understood. And just to tack on that a little bit, we are planning on doing signage around the site just for public education of we did this here, this is sustainable, this is healthy for the environment type things.
Excellent.
Thank you. We'll go to Lisa and then Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. And I appreciate, sorry that the driveway's not going to work out, but that's going to be really nice as an open space,
Yes.
green space for the public and for staff. So I'd like that better even than the driveway.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
Jim.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much for the presentation. I share the mayor's excitement for the potential for public art as the liaison to the Cultural Arts Advisory Committee. I know they will be very excited to consider possibilities for that space, and just looking at the lighting opportunities as well. There might be some really fun things that we can do, or even with different holidays and things like that.
Oh,
so
yeah.
love to see what you've got going there. I also love the idea of the wayfinding signs and really giving it that municipal complex feel. So really appreciate the design thinking going into that, and making sure that people understand from the where to park, how to get from even in the elevators, how to get where they need to go, et cetera. I think that's going to be really important. You mentioned as you're considering the design for the entrance and flagpoles in the plaza, thinking about that, you mentioned adding some trees or something along the tracks, and I wanted to make sure that as you're going through here and you're considering the sight lines of the entrance, thinking about places like the Old Town Park Plaza and what the view of the front door of City Hall is going to look like from there, and making sure that people can see it from there. And also thinking about just people on the train. You've got MARC and you've got Amtrak that comes right through here, and being able to see City Hall of Gaithersburg from there, I think has some benefits. So I wouldn't, I understand the idea of buffering, but let's make sure we're not hiding the entrance of City Hall.
No, I love that idea. That's definitely something to think about.
Great, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for the presentation. We look forward to how this evolves.
Okay, thank you. Told you to be quick.
Well done. Okay, next I'm going to call to the podium Tom Lonergan-Seeger and Brian Helms to do a demo of our parking permit system.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, we are 28 days from the effective date of the city's new permit parking program, beginning July 1st. Residents in communities that have existing permit parking programs will need to register through the new system, have a current permit, again, 2 permits per household, $25 per permit, with an accommodation for visitors as well that can be talked about in the presentation. July 1st is the effective date, but the launch date for the new system, where residents will be able to go in and start the process of registering, enrolling themselves through using the paperwork they'll be needed to submit in order to prove residency, payment. All of that will happen a couple of weeks earlier, and that's why we're here tonight. I did want to take a moment again to thank the many members of my permit parking committee that have been working so closely for the last 18 plus months, but in particular right now for Brian Helms, who has done an incredible amount of work over the last couple of months working with the new vendor, working on the contract, and frankly dealing with me over the last couple of months as we get closer and closer to the rollout date. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. As Tom mentioned, in about 2 weeks, we'll be launching the new system. So live demos are horrible. So I have about 7 minutes of videos for you tonight, but it's the live system, all configured behind the scenes. It's 3 different videos. Definitely stop us and ask questions in between the videos.
Smart man.
I've been burned before. The first video is the longest. It's about 3.5 minutes.
Before applying, make sure you have a digital copy of your vehicle's registration and proof of residency. To begin, you'll need to create a user account. Click Login, and then click Create Account. Enter your information, and then click Create Account. You will then receive an email to activate your account. Once you have activated your account, go to the home page, click Login, and log in. Then click Parking Permits. You'll need to select which permit zone you're eligible for. In the search box, you can type your street name. If your street is eligible for a parking permit, you'll see it here. Alternatively, you can go to the address box and type your full address in. Then again, if you're eligible, you'll see your zone. Then click Register. You'll then need to reconfirm your address. If there are already 2 vehicle permits issued to this address, you will not be able to proceed. Click Submit. You'll now need to enter the rest of your information. Click Add Vehicle to Permit and enter your vehicle's information. Click Add Vehicle to Permit. If no other permits have been issued, you can click Add Vehicle to Permit to add the second vehicle. You'll then need to upload your proof of residency. For instance, you could use a copy of your driver's license, a driver's license change of address card, or a utility bill with your name and address on it. After that, you'll need to upload your vehicle registration card. Review the terms and conditions and click the checkbox. Your fee will be $25 per vehicle per year. Since we're only permitting one vehicle right now, it's a $25 fee. Click Purchase Permit, click Continue, and enter your payment information. After you pay, you'll receive an email confirming your permit application. City staff will review the information you submitted for approval on the next business day, after which you'll receive an email with your final approval.
That's video number 1. If there are any questions, I can answer them now, or we can watch 2 more.
Any questions so far?
So are there any ways to pay aside from keying in your credit card number? Are you doing Google Pay or anything? Or
For
Apple
online,
Pay?
no. And I think Jamel also had a question about authentication, and it's a standalone account, so it doesn't support. So there's no Apple Pay, there's no Google Pay, and there's no, say, login with your Gmail account.
Okay, can we add that?
We can certainly put it on the enhancement request.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, sir. Going on to the next video? Yes, ma'am.
I think the screen said, the total said 25 per car. If it's 2 cars, does it say 50? Or does
Before
it,
applying,
Yep,
make sure you have a
That's correct. Let's see if I can't. Oh, that's always a bit of a pain in the butt. Sorry. So yeah. So if, for instance, a different resident at this address already had a vehicle, you would not get that add permit or add vehicle to permit button.
Okay.
So I missed your question. I'm so sorry.
It'll say, if I put
It'll
it,
say $50
Yep,
if
okay.
there's
Yes,
2 vehicles.
that is correct. So $50 would be the maximum ever if you had 2 vehicles on
Right.
one permit.
okay, thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, one more quick question.
Yes, sir.
So if you have a domicile with an accessory dwelling unit with its own address, does it have its own permitting capacity, or is it part of the main address?
We've discussed this, and it's per address.
Per address. So if
That
there's
is
2
correct.
addresses, there's 2.
You got it.
Okay.
Yep. So presumably it would be 8 Hutton Street, not to pick on them, apartment A or unit B. So each full address would be distinct.
Okay.
The only place where we have something like that, where it's more than just the street number and street name, is in the commercial areas, where, it might be, 31 Summit Avenue, Unit B for the businesses.
Understood.
Any other questions on that part?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. They get shorter.
Only residents can apply for visitor parking permits. Before obtaining a visitor parking permit, you will need to have a residential parking permit for your address and your visitor's vehicle's license plate number. From the home page, click Login and log in. Then click Parking Permits. To find your visitor permit, you can either type visitor from the top, or you can type your address in the right search bar. Once you've found your visitor permit, click Register. Visitor parking permits are valid for 3 days. Each visiting vehicle can obtain up to 30 of these 3-day visitor passes annually. Click Add Vehicle to Permit and enter the license plate number of your visitor. And then click Add Vehicle to Permit. Visitor permits have no cost. Review the terms and conditions, click the checkbox, and click Register for Permit. Visitor permits are immediately valid and are tied to the visiting vehicle's license plate number. If your visitor is staying longer than 3 days, you will need to repeat this process for an additional 3-day visitor permit when the first one expires. You can view all of your permits and their status at any time by clicking on your account and clicking Your Permits.
That's video number 2. Any questions on that?
No questions.
And then the last video is how to transfer a permit.
Residential parking permit holders may occasionally need to transfer their permit to a different vehicle. Before transferring your permit, make sure you have a digital copy of your new vehicle's registration and proof of residency. From the home page, click Login and log in. From your account, choose your permits. Find the permit that you would like to transfer and click Edit Vehicles. Type in the information for the vehicle the permit is being transferred to. Then upload a copy of your vehicle's registration. Then you'll need to upload a copy of your proof of residency. For instance, you could use a copy of your driver's license change of address card, or utility bill with your name and address on it. Click Save. The transfer is immediately effective. City staff will contact you if any issue is identified with the transfer.
And that's the last video we have for you this evening.
Quick question on,
Sir.
is that the same procedure you would do? It's not technically a transfer, but some people may go from a regular plate to a vanity plate. Or,
Yes.
So you just do the same.
That's exactly correct. So whether you sell a vehicle and get a new vehicle, or your brother gifts you a vehicle, or you get new plates that have a different number, your tags were stolen, et cetera, that's how you would update all those.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Would just like to take a quick second. Tom shouted out the parking committee, but the core group who's been implementing the software, Meghna Charla from IT, Ashanafi Orega from finance, Pete Ladisi, who's with us this evening from police, and Gretchen Wyrick from planning and code. All of this work, anything that's bad, it's on me. Anything that actually looks good and works well, it's on them. So just wanted to thank them very much, and thank you for your support.
We thank them too, and we thank you very much.
Just a couple of quick housekeeping items also, so you're aware. I want to thank Brian Fields and his team for their toiling to get the signage manufactured and installed ahead of July 1st. Courtney and our CPAD team for working on updates to the website. We should be reviewing some pages this week that'll have a lot of information about this. And there will be a second letter that is going out to all current permit holders. Thanks to Brian and his team for making this particular letter special, because it will be tailored to the address so that those residents can frankly just scan a QR code and pay and register using the letter that they receive.
And I apologize, just for clarity, it'll go out to every address that is applicable. So if you've never had a parking permit before, you'll still get a letter that lets you go ahead and sign up for it.
Can you clarify that last point?
So there's 330 addresses in the city that are in the parking permit restriction zones.
Yeah.
So we had maybe, I think in the order of maybe 90 people who were holders of parking permits previously. We're hitting all 330 or so addresses that are available so that they understand the process in advance.
I see.
So every one of them will get a current resident letter.
Okay. All right.
This is really, really exciting. The application looks great. Have you heard from any constituents yet? Any residents?
A handful.
Okay. All good news, right?
Well, I mean, with change.
Right.
I think it's more been looking for clarification, some questions or concerns about how will visitors park. But we have highlighted that visitor parking will be available. That was the primary question
Okay.
we'd
Okay.
received.
All right, the site looks great. It looks very user friendly. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. Next item on our agenda is public comments, and we have no public hearings tonight. So anything anyone wants to talk about for 3 minutes, for up to 3 minutes, just come up, state your name, address, or neighborhood for the record. Is there anybody who'd like to testify this evening? Not seeing anybody in the room. Let me check on our Zoom audience. If there's anybody on Zoom who'd like to testify, use the raise hand function, and I will call on you. Not seeing anybody in our Zoom audience raising hands. Okay. Then we're going to go to from the mayor and city council. And we're going to start with council member Jim McNulty.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will begin with an announcement. Gaithersburg residents will cast their ballots for mayor and 2 council members on Tuesday, November 4th, 2025. Candidate packets are available and may be picked up at City Hall by appointment only or requested electronically by contacting City Clerk Leah Jones at cityelections@gaithersburgmd.gov. The candidate filing deadline is Thursday, August 21st, 2025 at 5 p.m. The last mandatory candidate training session will be held virtually on Tuesday, August 5th. Candidates must attend one session and registration is required. To register, contact the city clerk at 240-805-1084. For complete election information, please visit our website at www.gaithersburgmd.gov/elections. I want to wish congratulations to all of our award winners tonight. I often say that we have the best municipal employees in the state of Maryland, if not the country, and I love celebrating the great work that they do each quarter. I want to wish everybody happy Pride Month. I had the opportunity to join our friends down in Rockville and some of our city council colleagues on the Rockville City Council at their Pride celebration on Sunday. Was only able to stay a little bit, but it was a really well-attended event, and some great music and some great vendors and just a great vibe down there. So it was really nice to participate, and looking forward to the events we have this month here in the city of Gaithersburg. This afternoon, I joined the mayor and Councilmember Harris as we went to the dedication of the new 6th District Police Station for Montgomery County Police. It is a state-of-the-art facility. They have some very nice amenities for our Montgomery County police officers. Almost as nice as our city of Gaithersburg police station.
Almost is the right word.
Yes. But there were a ton of dignitaries from state and county levels. Particularly, I want to thank Councilmember Katz for the huge acknowledgement that he made to the city of Gaithersburg for donating the land to the county for the station. And Marilyn Balcombe also recognized Pete and Lee Henry for originally donating the land to the city and for really making this happen. And
we should add Brad Klein as well.
Brad Klein, yes, yeah. Absolutely. And they just, one of the things that really stuck out to me was just the importance of this location for Montgomery County Police and the fact that they've relocated their, what do they call it, the traffic unit countywide is going to be out of this facility. And we got to see all of the motorcycles down in the garage, and it was I don't ride motorcycles, but it was pretty cool to see all of those down there. So just demonstrating the commitment that we all have to public safety, and the partnership that the city of Gaithersburg has with the county. And we also thanked for our ability to pivot when they needed to pull back from patrols from the county. And I really think that might have been the first time that's even been publicly acknowledged. So that was really gratifying for me to hear, and appreciate the ongoing partnership we have with Montgomery County Police. Another interesting thing that came out today was a first look at the initial options for the Crown High School boundary study. There, I believe, are 9 or so options. That is a hard job. I don't do jigsaw puzzles, and this seems like probably the most challenging jigsaw puzzle you could possibly do with a lot of emotions. I have not read them closely. Some concerns have already been brought to my attention, so I intend to read them very closely. MCPS is asking for public input, so I recommend that we all take some time to review the proposed boundaries and provide any feedback that you may have. I know I will be certainly doing that, and I will refrain from any additional comment because, like I said, I really have not viewed them in depth. So it would be premature for me to provide any other information beyond that. It was a pleasure over Memorial Day weekend to attend the Flags for Our Heroes. Thank you to the Rotary Clubs of Gaithersburg and Historic Emery Grove. This year was the first year that my family sponsored a flag in honor of my father-in-law who passed away last November. He served for many, many years in the Ohio National Guard, and he was actually deployed when he was in the Pennsylvania National Guard during, oh my goodness, I'm going to blank on the tropical storm in the 70s that kind of wiped out Wilkes-Barre. Both he and my father were actually deployed in the same area, but did not know each other. So it was kind of interesting when we learned that. But it was really nice for Amy and I to be there and be a part of that celebration. And it's always such a tremendous sight to see, 750 American flags at Borough Park. And a little different this year, we had we dedicated a peace pole down at the walking path closer to Frederick Avenue, down by the pond, and it was what a lovely idea, promoting peace in 8 different languages that are spoken in the city of Gaithersburg. And they mentioned during the celebration that it is going to be the first of a number of different ones throughout the state of Maryland. So once again, we're trailblazing here in the city of Gaithersburg. And finally, I just want to mention a number of us were able to visit Epworth United Methodist Church a couple weeks ago to celebrate with the Anna A. Brito Foundation, who were celebrating their 40 years of empowering immigrants and newcomers to our great city. They offer English as a second language programs. They offer computer classes, really just helping folks who are new to this area, new to this country, develop skills that will help them thrive here in their new home. I just love that we have this here, and we need more wonderful programs like this that just continues to show how much we value diversity here in America's most diverse city. The mayor likes to often say we live our values here in Gaithersburg, and I think this program is just a wonderful demonstration of how we do that through our wonderful partners, faith-based and otherwise, here in Gaithersburg. So it was a pleasure to be there and appreciate the invitation. And with that, I yield my time, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
All right, we'll go to Lisa.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to associate myself with many of Councilmember McNulty's comments. It has been, I feel like we've had some roller skates on the last couple of weeks, but it's all been good, thoughtful and meaningful events that I've enjoyed. I have a motion to read.
No, we're going to get to that.
Oh.
We'll do that after.
Oh, so because you should do this part first.
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
Then I am done.
Okay. Well, thank you, Lisa. We'll go to Neil.
All right, so I want to add one thing to Jim's discussion of the new police building, the fact that it's a net zero building. I think that only the second net zero police building in the country is very impressive among many other features of the building. So it was great to event and great to see it finally open after all this work. On the Transportation Planning Board side, I just want to share some information. I think I've mentioned this before, but coming up for a vote, I believe at the next Transportation Planning Board meeting, will be the proposal by Virginia Department of Transportation to take some right-of-way on the Wilson Bridge, which is the bridge on the other side leading to Prince George's County. The right-of-way has been reserved for potential expansion of Metro going across continuing the Blue Line. There is no plan in the foreseeable future to move forward with that Blue Line project. So VDOT would like to take that right-of-way and build some toll lanes to extend the toll lanes on the Beltway into Prince George's County. That has been somewhat controversial. There's been letter writing campaigns from pro and con groups. And in fact, I received an exceptionally long commentary letter by email today on the subject. So if anyone in Gaithersburg has any concerns or interest in the project, please reach out, and I'm happy to discuss it. That's it for now. Thanks.
All right, we'll go to Jamil.
And you can send those letters to neil.harris.
And CC Jamil. Don't CC him.
Associate myself with all these great comments. I just had one quick comment in that I think it was last week. Man, the days are blurring. Joined Councilmember Harris, Councilmember Henderson, and the mayor to be available to be dunked for charity, for a good cause, for our police foundations. So you've made it when you get to be dunked for charity. So.
All right. And I'll just add to that. You'd be surprised how many people will pay money to try to dunk the mayor.
With glee.
Yes. I raised a lot of money for the police foundation just by sitting in that dunk tank.
And how was the water?
It was cold. It was very cold, but worth it. I want to congratulate staff on a wonderful Memorial Day service this year. Just great. The weather was excellent. I want to congratulate the Kentlands community on the launch of their new playground that a number of us attended the ribbon cutting. I want to congratulate our colleagues down in Rockville for their wonderful hometown holidays events that a number of us went down and celebrated with them as well. And I think I'm going to stop it there and just note that we will not have a work session next Monday, June 9th. The next regular meeting of the Mayor and Council will be on Monday, June 16th, 7:30 p.m. You can participate here with us or over Zoom, or just watch it on whatever, TV or YouTube. And with that, we're going to go to... with that, now it's my understanding that we need a motion to conduct a closed executive session after this meeting. Lisa, will you do the honors?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move that the mayor and city council of the city of Gaithersburg conduct a closed executive session immediately following its session tonight, Monday, June 2nd, 2025, pursuant to the general provisions article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, sections 3-305B7, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice, and 3.305B8, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. The topics to be discussed are pedestrian safety near the AstraZeneca campus, the proposed pedestrian bridge, and the use of city-owned land at Spectrum.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Carries 4-0. We will be conducting that executive session immediately after this meeting. We're going to go from the city manager.
Nothing for me this evening, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Then we're going to go for our economic development update. Tom Lonergan-Seeger.
I'm taking a seat, Mr. Mayor, because I have the following item as well on the legislative action request.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Sure.
Just one item tonight on the economic development front. The city's skilled workforce and proximity to federal agencies has given our community an advantage in attracting life science companies, as you know. That translates directly into real property tax revenue, as the city manager knows. The city's top two commercial property owners, Alexandria Real Estate and AstraZeneca, mightily represent the industry with a combined assessed value exceeding $800 million. That's more than $2 million in tax revenue to the city alone. Each of these companies works within a separate but overlapping component of the biotech universe. That's facilities. ARE owns 17 buildings, AstraZeneca has 7. AstraZeneca occupies buildings that the company owns and also leases spaces in facilities owned by others. ARE, that's Alexandria, owns buildings and leases to biotech tenants. Those tenants include AstraZeneca, Novavax, and also smaller emerging life science companies. It's those smaller tenants whose success often relies on venture capital and federal funding, and these are uncertain times for both those sources of money. With that preface, let's quickly examine our life science market and speculate on near future challenges. Established biotechs, those with existing products that generate revenue, will likely revenue this time of higher interest rates and federal government disruption. An example of local success includes the recent announcement from Novavax of an FDA approval for its latest COVID-19 vaccine. This triggers a $175 million to the company from its partnership with Sanofi. But what's the outlook for the emerging biotechs? Well, ARE's strategy, identified in the Real Estate Investment Trust's most recent earning call, is to align with companies that are likely to bring near-term therapies and other biomedical products to patients. Remedy Plan, an ARE tenant here in the city, is just such a target. Recently, the company announced it raised $18 million in new funding to ramp up development of a drug to fight solid tumors, autoimmune diseases, and obesity. With 9 out of 10 diseases having no approved therapies and chronic conditions impacting nearly 130 million people, we know the need is there. But with constrained federal investment negatively affecting startups and smaller companies, and mergers and acquisitions reshaping the industry's presence, we will have to continue to highlight and distinguish Gaithersburg as the business-friendly epicenter of our healthcare industry. But Sharon and I are up for that task.
Yes, you are. Excellent.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, then let's move to staff guidance and legislative action requests.
As you know, each spring the Maryland Municipal League solicits inputs from its membership to help establish its legislative priority issues for the next legislative session in 2026. Issues are submitted to MML by municipalities in the form of legislative action requests, or LARs, with the hope that these matters can be improved with a legislative fix during the next session in Annapolis. Over the past few weeks, I've been soliciting suggestions and discussing a variety of issues with city staff and each of you that could potentially be submitted as LARs to MML. Several ideas were discussed. However, each municipality may only submit up to 3 LARs each year. I'm here before you tonight to seek your endorsement for 3 specific recommendations. Before I do, I just want to reiterate that these are only the priorities for which we are seeking MML's consideration to make one of their priorities. It does not mean that we can't pursue additional or potentially different priorities of our own for the next legislative session. First is a new one. We're calling it out-of-cycle adjustments of commercial property values by ESTAT. As you know, Maryland law mandates that all real property, that's real estate, be assessed for tax purposes at least once every 3 years. The Maryland Department of Assessments and Taxation, that's ESTAT, is the state agency responsible for determining these property assessments. Currently, if a commercial property sells for a value significantly higher than its assessment, local government cannot appeal the assessed valuation except in the year of the triennial reassessment. This can lead to significant revenue losses for municipalities during the interim years. Maryland ESTAT cannot make any changes to the assessed value out of cycle, except in the case of newly permitted improvements that add at least $100,000 in value, or a change in use or character, or a zoning change at the request of the owner. What we're recommending is that if a commercial property increases in value in an amount greater than 20% of its present assessed value, as determined by a sale transaction or change in the property tax worksheet, then enable ESTAT to adjust the value out of cycle and/or allow the county, state, or local government to initiate an out-of-cycle appeal. Whether by enabling ESTAT to adjust a property value out of cycle or by allowing us to initiate an out-of-cycle appeal, municipalities would not be forced to wait until the next triennial reassessment to realize revenue created by changes in real property market value. 3 years is a long time for cities and towns to wait before revenue is realized. Any thoughts on that one?
I have just a quick question. Is my understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, a property owner, if something happens to their property, can request an adjustment off cycle?
Yes.
So all this will do is create parity in that they can adjust and we can adjust.
We
And
think so.
the outcome is the property is marked to market more efficiently.
That's the idea.
Any other questions?
Yeah, so it's my understanding that, well, it's clear that in Maryland, commercial properties are valued based on their existing tenants and revenue against their costs. In some state, which means that if a building is vacant or very underutilized, the property tax will be considerably lower than if the building was fully utilized. It's my understanding that some other states at least, value the assessment of a property based on the assumption that it's full, which means we wouldn't have these off-cycle issues except in the case of a new sale, which would seem like it would provide an incentive for people to take their empty buildings and fill them up. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, that's a much bigger change than what you're looking for.
I think it's a bigger change. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but we thought this was more of an incremental, realizable approach to realizing more revenue for the city. That would be a pretty seismic shift in the way it's done.
At least we could maybe plant some seeds, and I'm not sure everyone's aware that other states do it differently.
We can do that.
All right, thanks.
That would be really controversial. But okay.
Having just gone through the real estate classes, my head's exploding with that idea.
Sharon's too behind me, I'm sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Second is a rerun of what we did last session, expanding the application of the admissions and amusement tax to include food and beverage sold at businesses where the A&A tax is applied. Senate and House bills, thank you, Ryan Spiegel, for allowing the expansion of the A&A tax were introduced during this past session but failed to advance. We'd like to see it brought back next year as we view it as a reasonable, modest request towards what will hopefully one day be a broader conversation about the need to identify new and even bigger funding sources for our cities and towns.
Just a comment, I think Arlington or Alexandria, I may be misnaming one of the two, recently approved a 4% food and beverage tax. Just proximate proxy. Do you know if there are any studies going on to see what impacts, if any, are going that we can monitor?
I'm not aware, but we can look at that and
Okay.
see if there's something we can track.
Thanks.
This seems like an easy yes because we supported it last
Yes.
year.
Yeah, the chances of getting that to move in an election year next year seem slim, but it's a good cause, so I support the idea.
Thank you. Speaking of slim chances, we're calling this our Swinging for the Fences LAR, the Family and Medical Leave Insurance Program, FAMILY, exemption for municipalities offering benefits that are equal or superior to those mandated by the state program. Many states with similar programs do allow municipalities to opt out, recognizing that their employees would have to pay into a system to prop up employees of private businesses that do not offer the same types of leave benefits commonly provided in the public sector. Local government employers in several states and D.C. are expressly exempted from their state programs, but can opt in if they elect to. Like I said, this would be our Swinging for the Fences LAR, but with more municipalities that already offer similar benefits finally recognizing the significant cost that they and their employees will incur under the family bill, coupled with the decision to delay implementation of the program for 18 months, it is possible that MML may be feeling some more pressure to advocate for those exemptions.
Okay.
Tom, what's the resistance in Annapolis to this? Obviously, we didn't get where we wanted to go last year.
Slim.
Slim, right?
That's the odds.
That's the odds. But
You're
why
asking
is
what exactly the
why is there such resistance to this?
I mean, it's a program that was advocated by the governor. I think that our legislature certainly wants to be on the side of more benefits than less, but I'm not sure there's an understanding that municipalities offer this similar benefits to that are already costing us. There are labor force implications from this, from a state program and a municipal program. There's implications that I don't think that have been fully considered, and we're hoping they give it more consideration this session.
And we've been told several times that Gaithersburg was alone on an island advocating for the opt-in. And we now have spent some time raising awareness. And finally, as Tom mentioned, we think other municipalities and towns are seeing the potential impact, and they're willing to join us in the discussion.
Great, thank you.
Sure, more of a peninsula.
It's an atoll.
This one is too sensible to pass.
All right. Well, it sounds like you got assent from everybody up here with these LARs. Thank you very much for putting it together, Tom.
Thank you, Will.
Next, we have from the city attorney.
Well, I do have something. My longest serving predecessor is here tonight, who served the city from 2008 to 2024. Before that, one of the places, the town of Mount Airy, where I worked with her as well, and the city of Frederick. So, very long career. In addition to serving, or as part of serving as city attorney here, I considered her a mentor, a teacher, colleague, and a friend. And she is also going to be retiring from providing legal services generally. So certainly a loss for our profession. But she's here tonight, and I wanted to honor Lynn for her service and for being with us tonight.
I said we give her a round of applause. Thank you, Frank. You got anything else?
That should do it for tonight.
Okay, do we have anything from any other staff? Not seeing anything. Okay. Well, I will note again, we don't have a work session next week, June 9th. With the next regular session of the Mayor and Council will be on June 16th, 7:30 p.m. And we will convene an executive session immediately after this meeting. Until next time, let's do great things, Gaithersburg. We are adjourned.
Record.